Well, good evening and welcome from the single pilot quiz tonight. As those of you who've heard, Abby is unfortunately unwell tonight, so I'm singing solo tonight. So apologies if things are a little bit more disorganized than they would have been. Evening, Brother Wits. More of you later. So this is quiz number 4, I think. Hope you're all okay in lockdown. Sorry for those who've had sad news either on the coronavirus side or the industry side. Lots of change at the moment, but I'm sure we'll all get through it and see the positives of the other side. So we're going to have Question of Aviation Quiz 4 tonight, and there's a few changes. Thank you to, before further ado, I'll credit it again in a minute, but thank you very much to Steve Connor and Wings TV for providing a better fly pass than you've had in the last few weeks. It's becoming a bit of a tradition now, so we hopefully can keep going with the fly past as we go forward. So, going into the quiz itself, we have, as I say, just made a few changes, not making major changes because we haven't had any feedback to say that you hate it. So we're just going to keep going as we can. But we do have a bonus round tonight. So those of you who know, I have an elder brother in Spain, Peter, who's on here as headboard cockpit wits, has been providing bonus rounds. So tonight we have a bonus round, number 6. So we're going to have aviation general knowledge, civil aircraft and military aircraft. Then we're going to pause, have the rounds with the just forgot about the music in the background. The rounds 1, 2 and 3 will have the answers. Then we'll have aviation people and history, and then aviation, film, TV and music, which we had some quite good feedback last time. And number 6, bonus round, sport and aviation questions and answers. We'll do that right at the end. And we already have, unless there's any better bidders, we already have another bonus round from Peter for next week. So anyway, we'll see how it goes tonight. So reminder of the rules, it's for fun, and if you do feel you want to donate to the East Anglian Air Ambulance, who are still doing a sterling job. Because Abby's not here tonight, there won't be any unofficial bonus points. So you might have been relying on some of those to get your scores right or higher. So there'll be 1 per bonus point, but there is a bit of a bonus point fest in some of the questions. And rule number 3, I've tried where I can to research all of the answers. So even if I'm wrong tonight, then I will appear to be right and accept the bonus round. So I haven't fact-checked the answers in the bonus round. So headboard cockpit wits on here, so if any of the questions in round 6 you think are a bit dodgy or answers, then please feel free to comment to Peter. So the credits for tonight I've already said about Wings TV, so Steve Connor very kindly allowed for that video to be put on YouTube live tonight, and thank you for that. We've also got James Mellon, who's continued to provide photographs from the Flickr account, and silentphotographer.com, who I believe is also signing in tonight. Give a bit of a clue as to where he might be based. And we've got some other photographs starting to flow in, so thank you for everything that you're doing to keep the content going, and hopefully you'll see that reflected as we go through the quiz. So without further ado, I'll start to move into the quiz itself. I don't think I've forgotten to do anything yet. Feel free to comment in the comments box. I'm in charge of the comments tonight. I'll try and keep up with comments. And as we say before, please don't post the answers into the comments. And it's for fun tonight, so nobody's really marking anyone. And there'll be no handing round question papers to anyone else. So really just enjoy yourself. Sam will move on with the quiz when I press the right button. So part 1 will be rounds 1, 2 and 3. So we'll round through rounds 1, 2 and 3 without any answers, and then we'll do a pause for the answers to rounds 1, 2 and 3. And I think there's a total of 79 points available tonight if you take the bonus points. So we'll go into round 1, aviation general knowledge. So question 1. Round 1, question 1. Which airline had the UK and Europe's first female jet captain? Which airline had the UK and Europe's first female jet captain? And if you know which airline it became part of, it was taken over by another airline. If you know which airline it became part of, then please put that in, and you get a bonus point for that. Thank you, Headboard Cockpit Wits. 5-figure donation. Wow. So that's round 1, question 1. And the background music, so I didn't say so, I think we've obeyed all the copyrights, so the background music is YouTube Live aviation themed music. I think I did say I was going to post the playlist on, so apologies if I didn't do that last week. I'll try and remember to do that this week. Round 1, question 2. What is the latest river to be used in the line of Rolls-Royce Aero engines? What is the latest river to be used in the line of Rolls-Royce Aero engines? And round 1, question 3. What was the original name of Liverpool John Lennon Airport? The original name of Liverpool John Lennon Airport. Fantastic piece of editing there, I hope you agree. Not. And those of you who missed the fly past at the start, thanks to Steve from Wings TV, we will play that in the break at when we go into the after rounds 1, 2 and 3, just in case you missed it. Round 1, question 4. In a Met forecast, what does the term FZ Foxtrot Zulu mean? In a Met forecast, what does the term FZ mean? An aviation Met forecast. Obviously, it's an aviation quiz. By the way, in case you think you've seen a new painting tonight, so I thought I'd model the Derek Blois mosquito painting that he did at Christmas. Oh, well, good point, Bob. Yeah, be careful with Peter, because 5 figures, that, don't know what that means really. Yeah, so the Derek Blois painting commissions are available. Look him up on. By the way, this is not some growing sponsorship or anything like that. This is just having aviation fun and trying to cover as much aviation activity as we can in the evening. So that was round 1, question 4. Round 1, question 5. Who was the first UK operator of the Boeing 787? And you get a bonus if you know which year they introduced it. So who was the first UK operator of the Boeing 787 and which year? Round 1, question 6. What does this marshalling signal mean? If you can see it. What does this marshalling signal mean? Obviously on the ground at an airport, or you might have seen it elsewhere. You might even have used it yourself. What does this marshalling signal mean? And thank you to all the people who've tuned in from different locations. I think we've got Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Colombia, Lincolnshire, not sure where else tonight, but welcome everyone. Round 1, question 7. So ATAG, those who remember a couple of rounds ago, the Air Transport Action Group, an international group out of Geneva. So they actually publish on their website some quite fascinating statistics if you're into that sort of thing. So according to the ATAG, the new Airbus A380, the A220, so what used to be the CS300 Bombardier, the 787, the ATR 600 and the Embraer E2 aircraft use less than how many litres of jet fuel per 100 passenger kilometres? It's one of those bits of information you've always wanted to know. Bath, thank you Mark, okay. So according to ATAG, the new Airbus A380 and A220, 787, ATR 600 and the Embraer E2 use less than how many litres of jet fuel per 100 passenger kilometres? 3, 9 or 12? Round 1, question 8. If I was in the air traffic control visual control room in the tower at Manchester, how far off the ground would I be? 30 metres, 60 metres or 80 metres? So if I was in the air traffic control visual control room in the tower at Manchester, how far off the ground would I be? Not in your bath, Mark, that's good to know. Health and safety and all that. 30, 60 or 80 metres? Round 1, question 9. What is the name of the UK airport with the IATA code BBS Bravo Bravo Sierra? And if you know the ICAO airport code, you get a bonus point. An official bonus point. Ah yes, good point, Josh. Good to be in the bath in Bath. So the name of the UK airport with the IATA code Bravo Bravo Sierra, and bonus name the ICAO airport code. And round 1, question 10, the last question in round 1. What are the markings on a runway threshold commonly referred to as? I'm sure you might all have different names for them, but the most commonly referred to as the markings on a runway threshold. I don't know if you've noticed a bit of a plethora of aviation quizzes now. Airability are running one. I think there's the Air Cadets have a quiz, so if you feel that you don't enjoy this one anymore, then there's lots of other quizzes, but I hope you stay with this one. Do plan to do this until the end of probably the end of lockdown or the end of June at the moment. Looks like the target for some sort of a phased approach, but we'll keep doing these for as long as you want to do them. So that's round 1, question 10. Anyone, if you want to post in the comments, if you want any of the questions again, I'm happy to run through them again, or we'll go on to round 2. So shout if you feel when you get to that point that you want to hear any of the questions again. And I'll mention them. Nice relaxing music in the background. I should have it up here what the tracks are, but they're all aviation themed. YouTube live media, actually. Number 6 again. So that was. What does this marshalling signal mean? Do you want me to show you this? I need to go back. I'll go back quickly to show you that marshalling signal. That one. So we'll go on with round 2, civil aircraft, and so if you're at any stage you want to just pop in the comments and I'll try and keep up with the number of questions. So round 2, civil aircraft. So not civil aviation, slightly fine tuning thanks to we've got some good media coming in now, so made it civil aircraft rather than civil aviation, which was a bit like general knowledge for civil. So round 2, question 1. Which aircraft type is this? And you get a bonus if you know the theme park that it is promoting, a bit of a clue. So which aircraft type is it, and bonus what theme park is it promoting. And thanks again to James Belland for the excellent photographs on his Flickr profile. Please don't give the link to it yet, because although there's quite a few. So there's a Trident, Peter. Trident 3 actually. Or as Max Kingsley Jones called it recently, a Trident 4. So, round 2, question 1, which aircraft type is this? Bonus, what theme park is it promoting? Round 2, question 2, what did the McDonnell Douglas MD-95 become? What did the McDonnell Douglas MD-95 become? Bit of a catchy tune, yeah. Hope you're all missing Abby. Yes, thank you for the Get Well Abby comments. Hope she'll be back next week. Thanks James for sharing the link, but hopefully everyone doesn't go through and memorise all the photographs, because I do plan to use some more going forward. So, round 2, question 3. So this is a new photograph coming from our solentphotographer.com. Can you name the helicopter type? Wouldn't give you a bonus point for the ship, because I'm not actually entirely sure what the ship is, although perhaps I should know. But the helicopter type. That's cheating, Mark, if you park next to it, but do you remember what it said on it? Thanks, James. I'm sure with your encyclopedia there that most people wouldn't be able to memorise those photographs. Round 2, question 4. Can you name this business aircraft type? Can you name this business aircraft type? Its current name in its new guise. In fact, James has, on these photographs, has very cunningly, of course, put his symbol across the aircraft windows. So, not that I would, but if I was trying to use them dodgily, they're all protected. But they're excellent photographs. I may have to deduct a point then, Mark, if you park next to it. That's a bit of an industry advantage then. Only joking. Round 2, question 5. What aircraft type did KLM UK use for its first low-cost subsidiary? So in the UK, KLM UK. What aircraft type did KLM UK use for its first low-cost subsidiary? And you get a bonus if you know the airline, the name of the airline. So the aircraft type that KLM UK used for its first low-cost subsidiary. If Abby was here, you might get an additional bonus point, but you're not going to if you knew the airline that then was taken over by subsequently. So what aircraft type did KLM UK use? Round 2, question 6. In what year did this aircraft type first fly? In what year did this aircraft type first fly? It's a very soothing tune. If you're in the Bath, if you were in the Bath, Mark, in Bath, this would be a soothing tune to play. I think it's called Soaring in the Air or something like that. Round 2, question 7. Can you name this aircraft type? This is an excellent photograph by solarphotographer.com. I'm not on commission, I hasten to add, but excellent photographs. I like looking at aircraft photographs, particularly where they're quite atmospheric, and this is quite atmospheric. It wasn't as close to the trees as it looks. Name the aircraft type. Something just happened to the feed. Let me just do a quick investigation. No, that's okay. I think it was just my finger trouble. Round 2, question 8. How many exit doors, main exit doors, are there usually on an Airbus A380? I don't mean that someone's taken one off, but in different configurations there may be. But how many main exit doors are there usually on an Airbus A380? Welcome to those who've just joined us. So we did start with a fairly stunning fly past, which I will attempt to repeat at half time. Round 2, question 9. Can you name the aircraft type? Can you name this aircraft type? Possibly one of the noisiest turboprops that you might ever hear. Can you name this aircraft type? Used to be one that came and parked under a window in an office I worked in once, and it was fairly deafening and fast, I remember. Round 2, question 9. Name the aircraft type. Yes, Brandon, hopefully. Hopefully the number in the safety video is the same as I read out as the answer. Then round 2, question 10, which aircraft type is this? Give me feedback if you think there are too many photographs, or sorry, that's no offence meant to anyone who produces photographs, but let me know if you think that we got the balance right. So that's round 2, question 10. Let me know in the comments if you need any of the questions again. So that's the end of round 2. Well, we're whistling through tonight. There's all these non-official bonus points, unofficial bonus points that you're missing, obviously. So those who just joined us, Abby is not well tonight, so I'm flying solo, all approved by the authorities. No safety risk. Keep photos coming. Thank you, Avianca757. Sorry to hear the news of your national airline this week, but hopefully that will all come back soon. So that's round 2. We're on to round 3. So this is the round that some of you hate with a vengeance. So let's see how we get on tonight. Round 3, question 1. Can you name this aircraft type? I think this is a great photograph by sophotographer.com. I think I got that right. Name the aircraft type. Great pics if you want to know about aircraft. There aren't any pictures in your bonus round, Peter. So that's round 3, question 1. You can almost feel the noise and the heat and the smell. Thanks, Josh. Round 3, question 2. Can you name this aircraft type? There's a pretty hefty clue actually on the front of it, but I just thought I'd put it up anyway. Yes, I agree, Avianca757. Hopefully that will be a way out. Round 3, question 3. At which RAF base are the new RAF E7 wedge tails to be based? If you were here 2 rounds ago, then we talked about the E7 wedge tails. Do you know which RAF base the new RAF E7 wedge tails are to be based? Round 3, question 4. Can you name this aircraft type? Newish, yes, you're right, Josh. New to the RAF. I think this is the track last week where we talked about Vangelis, but then we realised Vangelis had passed away, we think, or maybe hadn't. Lived in the Middle East somewhere. Maybe I've got that completely wrong. Round 3, question 4. Can you name the aircraft type? It's an aircraft, not the aircraft behind, although we won't accept any bonus points for anyone who knows the aircraft behind. Round 3, question 5. Where would you find up to 5 squadrons of Jaguars in the UK? Bob, you get a deduction of points for this question since you came up with it. Where would you find up to 5 squadrons of Jaguars in the UK? Oh, question 2, sorry, yes. Oh, okay, he lives, thank you. But I think, did we work out then he was pretty 77, thank you. Round 3, question 5. Where would you find up to 5 squadrons of Jaguars in the UK? Round 3, question 6. It's not Wing Friday, but can you name the aircraft type? So I think I've got the numbering right this week, so this is round 3, question 6. I'm sure you won't, Bob. Although Zoom or whatever you've been on all day probably has an effect on the brain, I know, from experience. Round 3, question 7. What aircraft type is this? It's in the military category because it's in military markings. Another excellent James Mellon photo. Did it star in James Bond, this variant? One of the James Bond films? There's no bonus points for that, by the way. But round 3, question 8. Mind-numbing it is, yes. Round 3, question 8. Which is the fastest RAF aircraft, the Typhoon or the Tornado? I know the Tornado is now out of service, but if both were in service at the same time, which they were for a while, which is the fastest RAF aircraft, the Typhoon or the Tornado? I'm talking about Tornado all variants. As verified by Wikipedia, because I think it's probably fully classified, the actual top speeds, but what's available in the public domain, top speeds, which is the fastest. Round 3, question 9. Which is the only RAF UK Royal Air Force official flying display? Which is the only RAF official flying display? Apologies for those who are overseas if this is a bit UK biased. It is a UK biased quiz. But if you want to feed in any rounds, there's now a bonus round, of course. So if you want to feed in a round from your country to fox us, feel free. Preferably in English. Which is the only RAF official flying display? And then round 3, question 10. Can you name this aircraft type? I think this is a Solent photograph, if I got it right. But round 3, question 10. Can you name this aircraft type? Oh, very good. Well, you could set a Colombian round. I'm not sure we'd do so well on those questions, but then again, I think there's a few world travellers here tonight, so possibly we would. So that's the end of part 1. I'll just pause for a while because I know the feed takes a while to get through to see if anyone wants to go through any questions. So I'll leave it a few minutes. Oh, thank you, Joseph. Could you possibly be the person with the seat name that we discussed last week, linked to Top Gun? Are you the slider of the quiz? Question mark. Thank you, Josh. A UAE bonus round. Well, we could do that. So anyway, that's the end of part 1. I'll just leave it for a couple more minutes. I think you'll indulge me. I'm going to play the fly past again for those of you who are maybe slightly late joining or actually just enjoyed it as much as I did, and credit it back to Wings TV, and we'll play the fly past, and it'll also give you time to let me know if you need any of the questions repeated. So if this technology works, we'll go straight back to the fly past after a bit of a lead in, which will just slowly go up the page. If you look up Wings TV on their website page, there's a fascinating story about how it all came to be, and also the Alain de Cadenet Spitfire flypast, which I did think about showing. Oh, thank you, Joseph. You are the official slider then. So stationed in England a few years ago, presumably at Lakenheath, although that might be classified. So thank you again to Wings TV, and we may feature some more flypasts. We might even try some civil stuff if you're still keen to keep doing this week after week. I'm very keen to keep doing it. So that was an excellent fly past. Thank you again to Wings TV, and we'll look for something suitable. Thank you for letting me put those clips together into a little videoette, and they all are all available, I believe, via various sites. So feel free to indulge yourself, and we'll look for something similar or slightly different next week. So on with the answers then, if you're ready to go to the answers for rounds 1, 2 and 3. So round 1, aviation general knowledge, the answers, and as I say, just as a repeat, I've attempted to fact check all of these, so hopefully they're all right. Round 1, question 1 was Dan Air, of course, and the name of the airline it became was British Airways. So Dan Air for 1 point and British Airways for 1 point. So there should be 12 points available in this round, I think, in total. My maths is correct, which is very often, but anyway, here we go. Round 1, question 2, Dan Air, British Airways. Round 1, question 1. Round 1, question 2 was the Trent. What is the Trent? Does anyone know whether Rolls-Royce will continue with rivers going forward? I haven't heard any rivers about any more rivers, but Trent. Round 1, question 3 is Speak. After Speak Hall, I believe, the local hall to Paul John Lennon Airport as it is now. Oh, this music, sorry, I forgot to turn the music down. Sorry, I just realised I got carried away with the music. The music is indeed a bit loud. Oh, okay. It was the Spitfires. I turned it up for the Spitfires and various Mustangs, etc. Oh, Josh, that's another round in its own right. We could have a Rolls-Royce River round. There's various people, I'm sure, on here who could do this. Yes, thank you, Kane. I think I've now clocked off the fact that the music was too loud, so apologies. That was my fault. Overindulgence in the video before. Round 1, question 4 means freezing. Not as of today, but not freezing here anyway. Oh, are they going back? Oh, Bob's, that might be a rumour, Bob. Are you starting here? Or so we could do a river round in future, a Rolls-Royce river round. Round 1, question 5 was now called Chewy Airways Limited, I believe, after a couple of rounds back. So they weren't called Chewy Airways then, but I think they were still Thompson Airways then, but they were the first operator of the 787 in 2013. So 1 point for Chewy Airways or any predecessor, and 1 point for 2013. We've now got a really quiet track in the background, so hopefully it's got back into balance again and your hearing is recovered. Round 1, question 6. What this marshalling signal meant? It means cut engines. Used in various ways. You even see it in car parks, car garages now, but its official designation, I believe, is cut engines. Sorry, Bob. Yes, I should have mentioned that, shouldn't I? Which are the relevant engine types associated with good IFE. Round 1, question 7 is 3 litres per 100 passenger kilometres. So sounds really miserly. I believe that if you read the ATAG fact sheet, it's about the same as the average compact car now. So when you're allowed to meet people for dinner and you get into that useless fact type of mode, 3 litres per 100 passenger kilometres, about the same as the average compact car. Round 1, question 8 is 60 metres, or to the nearest. Any Manchester air traffic controllers here? So 60 metres or 197 feet, roughly translated. Round 1, question 9 is Blackbush, or Echo Golf Lima Kilo. Used to be passenger flights, commercial passenger flights from Blackbush. Not sure anyone on tonight would remember that. But Blackbush. Round 1, question 10, piano keys is the common name for the markings on a runway threshold. I'm sure there are other names, various terms. So that's round 1. So a total of 12, I believe, is 12 points available, 10 and 2 bonus points. We'll move on to round 2, civil aviation, civil aircraft answers. Heathrow's backup, yes. So round 2, this was, you don't get any points if you know the actual full designation, but it's a Boeing 777 300 series, and it was advertising Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Walt Disney World, specially themed. And Mark, I believe you parked next to it, you said at Heathrow. I assume at Heathrow, or maybe somewhere else. Round 2, question 2 is the Boeing 717. In fact, the MD-95 I don't believe ever went into production as the MD-95. It went into production as the Boeing 717. Useless information. Round 2, question 3 is a squirrel. Don't know if anyone knew James, solar photographer, what the ship was, but anyway, you didn't get a bonus for that anyway. Thank you, Andy. Round 2, question 4 is a Hawker 800 XP. Obviously a long line of derivative aircraft before that, but is the Hawker 800 XP. So Bob wants to give James a bonus point. You can do that if you like, Bob. Oh, thanks, Mark Heathrow. Round 2, question 5. The answer was the BAE 146, the 300 series, I believe, and its name was Buzz, and it then became part of Ryanair. So KLM UK set up Buzz with BAE 146s that came out of the UK KLM UK fleet, and it then became part of Ryanair, and I don't think the 146s lasted very long. Boat face. Round 2, question 6. The Boeing 757 in 1982. Some people view the best aircraft that Boeing ever produced, but there's a good controversial statement to put out there. Oh, thank you, James. I didn't know that. Buzz were also the first new airline to start operations in the 21st century. Round 2, question 7 is an Airbus A380. Round 2, question 8. 16. Usually on an Airbus A380. Hopefully, Brandon, that's what they said on the in-flight briefing. Round 2, question 9 is a Mitsubishi MU2. And round 2, question 10, a Saab 340. So that round should also have been out of 12, I believe, with 2 bonus points. Flying is a distant memory, yes. Hopefully not for too long, much longer. So round 3, military aviation. Well, yes, I think there are actually. I don't think I read about one the other day. So round 3 answers: the Rockwell B-1B Lancer. Fabulous aircraft to watch take off. Round 3, question 2 is an Antonov AN-178. Actually, so those with good eyesight might have already spotted that. Anyway, could have done a bit of airbrushing, but decided not to for one of, I think it's James's photographs. In fact, you can see James's name along the side of the aircraft. Round 3, question 3 is RAF Waddington. So it's going to replace the E3, the 707 derivative electronic warning aircraft, currently operating in Australia, I believe. So pretty advanced aircraft, crammed into a 737-700 fuselage. Round 3, question 4 is a Chinook, of course. Round 3, question 5 is RAF Cosford. So I think 60 aircraft, 55 to 60 Jaguars used for, as well as a collection of other aircraft used to train the next generation of Royal Air Force engineers. Round 3, question 6 is a B-52, of course. Probably tell by the smoke, apart from anything else. Round 3, question 7 is a Pilatus PC-6 Porter. I think it was used in a James Bond film where they went off the end of a runway in Switzerland. Good film. Spectacular aircraft. Round 3, question 8 is the Tornado. So apparently, according to most of the sources I could find out, the Tornado ADV, the air defense variant, reached Mach 2.27, whereas the Typhoon is advertised to reach at or around Mach 2, but not more. So the Tornado. Oh, it was a golden eye. Thank you, Jordan. That could have been a bonus point, couldn't it? In fact, award yourself a bonus point for knowing that. Oh, what was the answer of round 3, question 5? Was RAF Cosford. And then round 3, question 10, of course, Slider flew these at Lakenheath. I read in the comments then. So this is an F-15. Is it an E variant? I don't know whether it's an E. Did I read recently that the F-15 is getting an upgrade to be even more of an impressive aircraft? So that's round 3, question 10. So part 2 is then rounds 4 and 5. So unless you need a break, we'll go. In fact, we could do a quick alternative fly past. Those of you who like fly past, we'll do a quick fly past from last week's quiz, just to enable you to catch up. Oh, sorry, missed 9. Did I miss 9? Question 9. Did I miss question 9? Yeah. Oh, thank you. Sorry, my helpers have just pointed out that I've missed round 3, question 9. Be surprised you've actually got a quiz at all tonight. But round 3, question 9 is RAF Cosford for the official RAF flying display. Apologies for that. Thank you, Joseph. It's an E. The new one, the F-15X, is going to be a huge upgrade, yes. Yes, apologies for missing that. So that actually, I don't think there's any bonus points apart from any unofficial ones in round 3, so I think it's out of 10. So I was getting carried away by another fly past, so I'll just sorry, voices in the background. Arcane, so where you'd find them now, if that wasn't clear from the question, apologies, but it's question 5. It may well have been Coltishall at one stage in history, but now it's RAF Cosford. So we'll take a bit of a pause here and actually just go through, hopefully, another fly past. So you're back. So we'll start part 2, rounds 4 and 5. So round 4 is aviation people and history, not necessarily linked. So either aviation people or history, or a combination of the two. So I'm intrigued, Mark, by the comment about the accidentally going to the RAF Cosford Air Show. But anyway, the nose from that non-river named engine. Yes, good point, Bob. So round 4, question 1. Who famously barrel rolled the Boeing 707? There may have been other people who have barrel rolled it, but who famously barrel rolled it? So it's certainly the only heavily publicised version I'm aware of. Round 4, question 1. Is that one? Round 4, question 2. Can you name the 2 locations of the RAF Museum? Where the public can visit. There may be other RAF Museum buildings, but the 2 main locations of the RAF Museum. Hopefully the music's about right. Round 4, question 3. I'm going to play you some sound clips. Now, last week the header slide wasn't linked to the right thing. Hopefully this is. So there's going to be 3 sound clips, and I'll play them again. So there's going to be 1 with a pause, 2 with a pause, and then 3. So the first 3 sound clips and you get a point each.
I think, I was interested in aviation from the age of about 7 or 8. I have no idea why. I was born in India.
First one.
We look at the contenders for the Army Air Corps' new attack helicopter program to replace the Lynx. And military airlifters of the future was another significant theme of Farnborough 94.
That was number 2.
Just wondering if I could poke my nose into the cockpit when Doug Burton, the co-pilot, popped in to see me.
And that was number 3. Let me just try and play those again.
I think, I was interested in aviation from the age of about 7 or 8. I have no idea why. I was born in India.
That was number 1.
We look at the contenders for the Army Air Corps' new attack helicopter program to replace the Lynx. And military airlifters of the future was another significant theme of Farnborough 94.
Farnborough 94. Number 2.
Just wondering if I could poke my nose into the cockpit when Doug Burton, the co-pilot, popped in to see me.
So, 3 sound clips, 1 point each as championships and 2 gold medals. The female airline pilot who then went on to win 7 Helicopter World Championships and 2 gold medals. Round 4, question 5. Can you name the aircraft manufacturer that famously included its revolutionary jet fighter in its brochure opposite one of its fridges? So there is a famous photograph of, on one page of a magazine brochure, this revolutionary jet fighter, and on the other page a fridge made by the same company. Forget who it is on. Is it Twitter or what? There's a number of people posting some really old adverts and various things. I haven't seen this one again recently, but it's a bit of a classic. So that's round 4, question 5. Round 4, question 6. Can you name the locations where you can still see the British Concords? So there are a number of locations, so there's actually a chance to max out your bonus points, particularly if you're falling behind. So the locations where you can still see the British Concords. So I'm not counting the French Concords. only the Concords that were British. So I'll leave you a bit of time because there's actually potentially a number of those. The Hot Point 2 aircraft. The Carlsberg 2 aircraft. Thank you, Josh. That should be on RAF Luton on the Twitter feed. Name the locations where you can still see the British Concords. And say there are quite a few of them, so you might need to come back to this. That might give you a bit more time at the end if you need it. Round 4, question 7. Where is the world's largest dedicated helicopter museum? I haven't fact-checked that it is, but it's certainly the defined British. So, yes, on the British Register, or British manufactured. Are there? Good question, Mark. Are there British manufactured ones on other registers? I don't know, actually. Yes. Yes, James, but if they did. We can do that as a thread if Carlsberg made aircraft. Are we allowed to mention Carlsberg on YouTube? Apologies if we breached any copyright. Other beers are available. Round 4, question 7. Where is the world's largest dedicated helicopter museum? Round 4, question 8. So there was an English aeronautic pioneer who established the modern notion of a fixed-wing aircraft in 1799. Did you know that? And designed a glider that was safely flown by his reluctant servant in 1853 in the first recorded successful manned flight. Controversial statement. So the first recorded successful manned flight made in 1853 based on a design of an English aeronautic pioneer who came up with an idea in 1799 and designed the aircraft but didn't fly in it at the time. Long question, sorry if it's a bit of a tongue twister. Round 4, question 9. In which year did the first woman receive her RAF pilot's wings? So we're talking about any form of RAF pilot's wings. Just to make sure we get the fact checks right. So in which year did the first woman receive her RAF pilot's wings? And you get a bonus if you know her name. I know you all love the aviation, the people in history round. And then round 4, question 10 is going to be another 3 sound clips. So 3 sound clips for you to listen to when I press the button, if I get it right.
Generation is education and inspiration, and that's a big part of my life. And you know, I have 2 children. They were both cadets.
That was number 1.
Here we are. The Spitfire is behind you. You don't want me to ask you how you're feeling, do you?
Well, excited, but aware of my age, so hoping that things go okay. Not as confident as I did when I used to fly them alone when I was young.
What's so special about going in a Spitfire?
That was number 2.
I have a message to give to the youth of this country. I am so proud to belong to the young people. I feel that the young people of this country are those who are doing things to help make England the most wonderful nation in the world. And if we're going to accomplish the ideal of making England the tip-top country in the world, we've got to get England in the air.
So 3 sound clips.
Generation is education and inspiration. Generation is education and inspiration, and that's a big part of my life. And you know, I have 2 children. They were both cadets.
That was number 1.
Here we are. The Spitfire is behind you. You don't want me to ask you how you're feeling, do you?
Well, excited, but aware of my age, so hoping that things go okay. Not as confident as I did when I used to fly them alone when I was young.
What's so special about going in a Spitfire?
I have a message to give to the youth of this country. I am so proud to belong to the young people. I feel that the young people of this country are those who are doing things to help make England the most wonderful nation in the world. And if we're going to accomplish the ideal of making England the tip-top country in the world, we've got to get England in the air.
So, hopefully you got all of those. So there's 3 points for those 3 within question 10, round 4, and then 3 for the earlier ones. So we'll talk about those a bit more later, and if you need me to repeat them, I might go on and do those a bit later. But without further ado, we will go on to round 5, which is the last of the normal rounds, and we'll then have a go through the answers, and we'll do the bonus round. The Yorkshire Airways sketch, the classic sketch. If you haven't watched it, I recommend that you do. Can you name the 2 comedians who filmed the Yorkshire Airways sketch? Round 5, question 2. In Disney's Planes, the movie, what plane is Rip Slinger based on? What type of plane is Rip Slinger? So in Disney's Planes, what plane is Rip Slinger based on? In fact, I don't think we have any Top Gun questions tonight. So this is I think every quiz so far we've had a Top Gun question, but I don't think we do tonight. So in Disney's Planes, what plane is Rip Slinger based on? So maybe we'll use planes as a theme. Round 5, question 3. In the film Airplane, who took over and landed the plane? In the film Airplane, who took over and landed the plane? Those of you who are regulars know that we have featured Airplane a few times. I only learnt this week that it was a parody of a previous film that is almost word for word the same as the new Airplane. I thought it was original, but apparently it's almost word for word a previous film. Look it up, it's quite interesting. Round 5, question 3. Round 5, question 4. Steve Martin and John Candy star in a film that led to a journey involving what? Round 5, question 4. Steve Martin and John Candy star in a film that led to a journey involving what? Thank you, Brandon. That was last week. Round 5, question 5. What did the Foo Fighters learn to do in one of their tracks? Round 5, question 5. What did the Foo Fighters learn to do in one of their tracks? Actually, there's another band as well that did learn to do the same in one of their tracks, but this is the Foo Fighters. Yeah, apparently that Avianca 757, that quote is in this original film that Airplane was a parody of. Round 5, question 5. Round 5, question 6. Which Thunderbird vehicle was most aeroplane-like? In my personal view, which Thunderbird's vehicle was most aeroplane-like? Those of you who follow Twitter will have seen this Thunderbird's vehicle in a different livery about a month or so ago. Rumoured to be joining the Royal Air Force. Only joking. Round 5, question 6. Round 5, question 7. Who was the lead actor in the 1984 film about the Spruce Goose? Who was the lead actor in the 1984 film about the Spruce Goose? Round 5, question 8. Which former B-17 Flying Fortress and airline pilot created Star Trek? Which former B-17 and airline pilot created Star Trek? We could stretch the aviation theme into having some Star Trek questions, couldn't we, really? In space, air and space. Particularly as we're in the month where there's going to be men in space launched from American soil again. Thanks to NASA and Mr. It is bad, Josh, that you've never seen Thunderbirds. But don't watch any of the more modern ones. You have to watch the original series. Round 5, question 8, that was. Round 5, question 9. Who sang the original big band aviation ballad Come Fly With Me? Round 5, question 9. Avianca 757, you haven't seen it either? Oh, sorry. We could have had a question to say, what is Thunderbirds? So that's round 5, question 9. And round 5, question 10. In the film The Dam Busters, which aircraft is shown dropping the bouncing bomb first in trials? So in the film, Tracy Island was made on Blue Peter. Yes. No bonus point, I'm afraid, for that. Abby's not here. In the film The Dam Busters, which aircraft is shown dropping the bouncing bomb first in the trials? Only 2 Avianca 757, yes. So that's round 5, question 10. In fact, that's the last round of the last question of the normal rounds. So that's the end of part 2. So we'll go through the answers. I think that's the sequence I got them in. We'll go through the answers that's right, Peter, yes. We used to walk past and think they had some of the models in the window near the station and where we lived. So that was the end of round 5. We'll go through the round 4 and round 5 answers, and then we'll build up with a bit of crescendo to the bonus round. So the answers to round 4. Round 4, question 1 was Tex Johnson. I think he might have been the Boeing chief test pilot at the time. But there's a famous photograph of looking out of the passenger window of the 707, I think virtually vertically down, looking over Seattle or somewhere. That's round 4, question 1. Round 4, question 2, Hendon and Cosford. Mark knows that one's at Cosford, I noticed earlier in the comments. Hopefully you've both been to both of them. They've actually been significantly revamped and a lot better now and updated, so great museums. Struggling a bit in the current climate, I would imagine, because they get a lot of their funding from the people going in there and buying. They don't get a huge amount from the government for their to run them, so, and the fact they keep it as free is fantastic. Round 4, question 2, that was. Round 4, question 3, the 3 aviation people. John Hutchinson, John Blake, the famous, died a few years ago, but the famous Farnborough commentator. If you ever met him, a character larger than life. And David Jason, of course, who I believe also flies helicopters, and if you've seen his series on the TV, he also talked about one of the other answers to one of the other questions later. Round 4, question 4. The lady was Caroline Goff Cooper. So female airline pilot who then decided to, by chance, go to Russia, I think, to fly a helicopter, and one ended up winning 7 helicopter world championships and 2 gold medals. Oh, they have your aircraft in Cosford, Mark. Which one would that be then? Round 4, question 5. English Electric. So if I could put it on here, then I'd attempt to try and show you but we're not allowed due to copyright, but it's worth researching. English Electric made fridges and aircraft, and the Lightning and the fridge appeared on the opposite pages of their brochure. So you could buy a fridge. I don't know how many fridges you'd buy for the price of a Lightning, or vice versa, So, Andy O'Shea, of course, bonus point for Abby's. Abby's not here, so yes, you can have a bonus. But oh, the bulldog. Okay. Round 4, question 5. So that was that one. Round 4, question 6. So there are 10. I'm happy to be shot down here, but there are 10 points here if you got all these. So one's in Barbados, one's in Brooklands, one's in Duxford, one's in East Lothian, one's in Heathrow, one's in Bristol, Filton, one's in Manchester, one's in New York, one's in Seattle, and one's in Yeovilton. So 10 points there. So this is a bit of a points fest round because you get 3 points for each of the sound clips if you got them right, 10 if you've got all these right, and then a further 3 if you got the ones at the end of the round right. Round 4, question 7 is Weston-super-Mare, the world's largest dedicated helicopter museum, currently closed of course, but hopefully reopening soon. Round 4, question 8, George Cayley. So we can start a controversial discussion here about who first recorded a successful manned flight. But if you watch the David Jason documentary where he actually interviewed some of the family of George Cayley, it was a fascinating program. Round 4, question 9, it's in 1950 was the year. So Jean Lennox Bird, now she got her wings as a volunteer reservist. It was quite some time later that the first RAF pilot got her full wings in full RAF service, but Jean Lennox Bird, got her wings as an RAF reservist. Round 4, question 10. So the 3 ladies balancing out the 3 men earlier: Carol Vorderman, Joy Lofthouse, Amy Johnson. Don't know how many of you have ever heard Amy Johnson, but actually a fascinating clip that you might see a bit more of coming out in the near future. So Joy Lofthouse, if you haven't met Joy Lofthouse, fabulous lady, died recently. She applied to join the Air Transport Auxiliary to fly aircraft in the war. There were only 17 out of 2,000 applicants accepted. Joy never driven a car at the time, and she got to fly 38 different types of aircraft during the war based out of White Waltham. So fabulous lady, great video if you want to look it up on the on Tinternet. Quite an inspirational lady, and of course Amy Johnson, who rather presciently spoke at the time about women in aviation. So you might see a bit more of that clip coming up again sometime soon. So that was the end of round 4 and round 5 answers. Round 5 was Hale and Pace. One of them died recently, I think. Did I hear that recently? But fabulous sketch. You could have had a bonus point for knowing which aircraft it was filmed in and where. In Disley's Planes, so it was a Curtiss P-40 Warhawk Rip Slinger. Dastardly character. It's round 5, question 2. Round 5, question 3, Ted Stryker. I think that's the right spelling. It's either with an I or a Y, because it's in different spellings in different places. So Bob, no doubt you got that one. Round 5, question 4, Trains, Planes and Automobiles, of course. Another great film, Avianca 757. Hopefully you've seen that one. Great film. John Candy sadly died. I think Steve Martin's doing a lockdown comedy class at the moment on social media. Round 5, question 5. They learned to fly in one of their tracks, as did another band that we might save for another quiz when you've forgotten about this question. What did the Foo Fighters learn to do in one of their tracks? Learn to fly. Round 5, question 6 is Thunderbird 2. On Twitter recently, I think there was one in RAF livery somebody posted. Avianca 757, when you've seen the film, then you can hopefully it'll become clear. Round 5, question 7, Leonardo DiCaprio. Thank you, Bob, for the photograph that might appear at some stage. Round 5, question 8. Gene Roddenberry, former Flying Fortress and airline pilot, created Star Trek. I agree, James. Although there weren't any photographs of it on your Flickr feed, so otherwise I could have put it up here, because you can't put anything up here that isn't copyright free. Round 5, not that yours are, of course, because we have permission for your photographs, but anyway. Round 5, question 9, Frank Sinatra, of course. And round 5, question 10 was the Wellington. I think the famous clip, isn't it, of Barnes Wallis in the office in Whitehall saying, how do you think we can get hold of a Wellington? And he said, well, perhaps tell them I've designed it. So it's the Wellington. Did I get a question wrong? Apologies if I did, about the date then. So you can award yourself a point if I've got that one wrong. Apologies if that's a fact-checked slip. So that's the end of round 5, and so you've all been waiting for round 6, the bonus. So we'll just catch up that round. So should have been, I think round 4 was out of 24, and round 5 is out of 10, I believe. Sorry, Avianca 757. You need to watch more films. Make advantage of the lockdown. Watch all these films. Ah, so Josh, the bonus round for my brother might be the saviour then for you. So we're going to go into this round 6, so sport and aviation. So all of these questions, 10 questions, have an aviation and a sport link. So the two are joined in some way or by the question. Oh, Hale and Pace are alive. Oh, who was it who died recently then? One of the duo. Oh, perhaps it was Little and Large. Sorry, I got it wrong. Apologies to Hale and Pace. Right, so round 6 we'll go into. Round 6, question 1. What position does rugby union player Johnny May play for England? Here's your chance to catch up then. What position does rugby union player Johnny May play for England? So bonus round 6, question 1. Sport and aviation being the theme. Sounds like Vangelis again, not a Vangelis lookalike. Round 6, question 2. What business aircraft does footballer Lionel Messi normally use? Don't know whether he owns an aircraft or he uses it with someone else's, but he's normally associated with a particular aircraft type. We're not looking for the registration or anything like that. We're looking for the type of business aircraft that footballer Lionel Messi normally uses. Round 6, question 3. What is the name of the NFL? So is that National Football League team based in Seattle? The name of the NFL team based in Seattle. You've actually photographed it. Ah. It's a bit of an advantage then, Avianca 757. It's leased, thank you. NetJets, thank you. I think your aircraft is, but it might be parked locally somewhere. LV register, thank you. So you seem to know that one quite well, Avianca 757. So that's question 3. Question 4. What does a gymnast use to get up to speed before they do whatever they're going to do? What does a gymnast use to get up to speed before they do whatever they're going to do in their sport? So that's round 6, question 4. 1 point for each of these as we go through, unless there's a bonus point. Here's a case in point. So 2 points for this one, 1 and a bonus point. What was the special name given to the Boeing 757 that flew athletes to the Rio 26 Olympics? And you get a bonus if you know the flight number. It was given a special name for the Rio 2016 Olympics. Yeah, we're looking for something a bit more specific and aviation linked, Josh. So round 6, question 6. So here's yet another airplane link. What former basketball star plays the co-pilot Roger Murdoch in the film Airplane? I'm sure you can all recite some of the words for this, those who've seen it. That's round 6, question 6. Round 6, question 7. What two teams have the name the Red Devils? And all those other, Brendan, all those other sayings that some of which we did last week or the week before. Round 6, question 8. What is a baseball throw to a batter called? I'm assured that that's what they call the person who you throw the ball to. What is a baseball throw to a batter called? Round 6, question 9. So I think this is ice hockey. The Chicago NHL team shares its name with what helicopter type? The Chicago NHL team shares its name with what helicopter type? This is a very moody song in the background, tune in the background. Round 6, question 9. And the last question of the entire quiz round tonight, round 6, question 10. What was the aircraft type involved in the 1958 Munich air crash involving Manchester United? What was the aircraft type involved in the 1958 Munich air crash involving Manchester United? Thank you, Josh. That could have been a quiz question. Holly was on that flight. So you can award yourself bonus points for knowing that then. So that's round 6, question 10. Does anyone need any of the questions again? And we'll just pause for a minute and turn up the music just in case anyone needs any of the questions in round 6 again. Yes, you can get a bonus point for the captain bomb. So, are we ready to move on to the answers? No one needs any more time. Munich aircraft. Oh, I thought you were talking about the Rio aircraft bomb. Yes, you can have a bonus point for the Munich aircraft. Did we miss a question? Oh, no, not again. Did we miss a question? Counting was never my strong suit. So, which question do you think we missed, Mark? 9. Question 9 was the Chicago NHL team shares its name with what helicopter? Turn the music down. 8 or 9. So 8. Eight was what is a baseball throw to a batter called? And 9 was the Chicago NHL team. Thanks, Bob. get me worried now. I'll be paranoid about keeping missing questions. So 8 was a baseball throw to a batter, baseball, and 9 was a Chicago team with what helicopter type? 7 was what 2 teams have the name Red Devils? 6 was the Roger Murdoch. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thank you, Andy. So, without further ado, we'll move on to the answers in round 6. So the first one was a nice easy one to ease you in, wing. So nice cheesy link between rugby and aviation there. So if you say he played at back, then obviously that has no aviation link. Question 2, he has a Gulfstream 5, so I think it was Avianca 757 who said which register it's on even, and it's a leased NetJets aircraft, I believe. Bonus point if you know how much he pays for it. Round 6, question 3, the Seahawks. If I remember rightly, Boeing painted an aircraft a 747-8 in a Seahawks livery and flew it round. Round 6, question 4 is a runway, so a gymnast uses a runway. Oh, thank you. Yeah, fly half. You can have a bonus point for fly half. That's very inventive anyway. So we hadn't thought of that rugby aviation link. So a runway for a gymnast. Round 6, question 5. Victorious, with Rio Hewitt cunningly put into the name, and it was the flight number was BA 2016 2016. So that's 1 point and a bonus point. Number 6 was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You need to watch the film again to get that. It's actually in the film itself, of course. Speed mattress. Oh yeah, that's an interesting. We have to think of a link. Round 6, question 7. Manchester United and the parachute regiments. So the UK parachute regiments, British Army's parachute display team. Yes, you get lots of bonus points, Holly, if you know the registration as well. So that's round 6, question 7. Round 6, question 8, pitch. So a bit of a tenuous link here, but of course important to an aircraft. So baseball throw to a batter is called a pitch. 2 points, yeah, okay. Yes, of course, 2 points, Andy. Holly. Thank you, Andy. I'm sure you don't need them, Holly. I'm sure the score's going to be great anyway. Round 6, question 9 is the Black Hawk. Oh, Crawley Town. You may well be right, Connor, in which case you can have a bonus point as well. And the Belgian national football team. Yes, James. You can have a bonus point for that as well. So if we're going to make this international, we'd probably open up a whole range of new bonus points to these questions. Round 6, question 10 is the Airspeed Ambassador, also in the Elizabethan class, and Bob, you get a bonus point if you know the captain's name. Thank you, Avianca 757. So that's the end of round 6. Now I believe that's out of 11 points, if I've got that right. So it should actually mean a total number of points of 79. So I'm going to put the flypast on while you start posting your scores, and when we come back from the flypast, I'll read out some of your scores. And we had a suggestion this week, we should put some sort of a Google Docs up or something similar with a league table. So actually we'll try and do that, and we'll try, I think we can capture the comments afterwards. We'll have to work out if we can. So I'll put the flypast on again, just to give you time to post your scores, and then we'll read some of them out as we come back, when we come back. So, thank you for taking part. I'm sure you can all see the comments, but I have noted down most of the scores. We do a quick shout out as we go through. So Matthew Senior 36, Matthew Craig Taylor 49, Mark Garrick 49, Dave Howie 45, Connor and Julian Gladwin 59, Jordan Bridge 48, Andy O'Shea 27, Josh 24, don't be ashamed, it's only for fun, Holly Evans 33, so Peter 21, yes, but the whole idea, I get to set the questions, so therefore I get perfect scores, of course, when I research them right. Jimmy 37, Kane 33, Brandon 40, Avianca 757 26, Bob 42, Mark, yes we do miss, so Josh, I'm sure you've got a better score for this year, have been there. So that's all the ones on here. I think I can see James 36, you should have included the questions with your photos because I'm sure you can't memorize all of those. Joseph Slider 33. So we'll try and get some sort of a league table going. I don't know whether we can actually get the previous comments, but thank you for taking part. We'll do it again next week, and we'll keep doing it until you say no. We've got a few people dropped off tonight off the list from last week, but I know there's been some bad news and various things out there, and I'm sure most of the reason is because Abby's not doing the quiz tonight. So hopefully she'll be back next week and fit and well. And thank you again for listening. Keep safe and tune in next week. And we'll leave the chat live if you want to just exchange any comments for a while. But I'll sign off for now, and keep well, keep safe, and see you next week. Bye.